Thank you, Chris. Good evening. Mary Robinson's human rights work has always focused on the victims. She's also worked with business people to encourage positive initiatives. In the next few minutes, I want to show you some images of victims and of positive cases to remind us why we're all here tonight. The task of our nonprofit organization, Business and Human Rights Resource Center, is to make transparent the impact of companies on human rights, so that when companies take positive steps, they get the recognition they deserve, and when companies commit abuses, there is accountability and there is encouragement for them to improve their conduct. We do this by tracking on our website the human rights impacts of 5,000 companies, by seeking responses from companies when allegations are made, and providing easy access to tools and guidance for everybody working in this field. In deciding which images to show to you tonight, I first went to our regional researchers to ask them about particular cases, particular abuses that had struck them on a human level. So Harpreet Kaur, our South Asia regional researcher based in Delhi, picked this photo. I think some of you have seen this photo before. A dead child, one of the thousands of people killed in the Bhopal 1984 Bhopal disaster in India, the world's worst industrial catastrophe. Aliou Diouf, our Francophone Africa researcher based in Dakar, picked this image. This is a woman in Côte d'Ivoire. She is one of the reported 100,000 people in that country who sought medical assistance after exposure to toxic waste, which was transported to Côte d'Ivoire by a Dutch shipping company and dumped in Abidjan. Abiola Okpechi, our Anglophone Africa researcher who is based in Cape Town, picked this photo, which gives you a feeling of how widespread oil pollution in Nigeria impacts the people living in the Niger Delta. Ella Skybenko is our Eastern Europe, Central Asia researcher based in Kiev. She picked this image, which is a homeless man in Ukraine. In 2008, Ukrainian police arrested 6 people who allegedly went around collecting homeless people from Ukrainian cities, took them to a pig farm, forced them to work on the farm 18 hours per day without pay, fed them the same food as the pigs, and beat them if they tried to escape. Mauricio Lazala, a national of Colombia, is our head of Latin America based in London. Mauricio chose this photo, an indigenous woman in Guatemala pleading with a Canadian mining company not to tear down her home. As for me, I chose this photo. This is a man's body with various parts that have been chopped away. This was done in Angola by private security firms working for major multinational diamond companies. The security guards tortured and in some cases killed local artisanal miners who were found on the property of the mining companies. They beat them with clubs and shovels and hacked their bodies with machetes. They also abused them in other ways, for example, forcing a man and his father-in-law to have sex together. I also went to my colleagues based in the United States and asked them to pick some cases of positive initiatives by the private sector. Annabelle Short, our head of program based here in New York, chose this photo. The company Manpower has been playing a leading role in the End Human Trafficking Now campaign, declaring a zero-tolerance policy for working with any entity which benefits in any way from human trafficking. Joanne Bauer, our senior researcher, also based in New York City, picked this photo. In 2008, Anglo American extended its comprehensive HIV prevention, care, and treatment program to the families of its 75,000 employees. Patty Surak, our development director based in New York, picked this photo. The Sri Lankan apparel company, Brandix Lanka, has been working with the UN Development Program to bring access to clean water to villagers in Sri Lanka. And Greg Reguignon, our head of research based in California, chose this photo. Some of you know about this. It's a remarkable 2005 report on Unilever's impact on poverty in Indonesia. And what's remarkable about it, two things. Number one, the authors of this report are Oxfam and Unilever itself. And what's also remarkable is it looks quite frankly at both the positive and the negative impacts of Unilever on poverty in Indonesia. Time doesn't permit me to tell you everything about everything that Mary Robinson has done for our organization as chair of our International Advisory Network and on a personal level. Suffice it to say that, and this really isn't an overstatement, I don't know if our organization would be around were it not for Mary. Over the years, Mary and her colleagues at Realizing Rights have not only focused on their own human rights work, but they've also given much of their time to helping others start new initiatives and new organizations to address gaps in the human rights field. We're very grateful to Mary and to her colleagues.